Next up, Lua, language for the web? Nice question. Paul's going to give it a answer.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name's Paul. I'm a front-end developer, so I usually write JavaScript, but I used to work for a gaming company and they use Lua a lot, so I picked it up there and absolutely loved it, and I wanted to use it every day. So, so the more ways that they can run Lua in the browser, the better.
Can you use the mic?
That's just for that.
Oh, this one just goes to the recording.
So I'll try and speak up. Okay, so you may know me also from another project, which is Moonshine. I'm not going to talk about it today, but it's a VM that runs Lua bytecode in the browser. So you have to take your Lua code, compile it, process that compiled bytecode to JSON, and then run it in the browser. And that has limitations. You can't run arbitrary like Lua code in the browser, and because it interprets the bytecode at runtime, it's not benefiting from the JIT of the browser. So I'm today going to talk about my new project, which is Starlight, which is a translator from Lua to Lua code to Lua to JavaScript, or more specifically ES6 or ES 2015 as it's called now. So so first of all, the story of Starlight started, well, it started 6 months ago, but it really started like 2 years ago when I came across ES6 for the first time and noticed, oh, there's some similarities here between what I use every day and what I would want to be using every day. And first of all, generators, obviously, it's cooperative multitasking. It's very similar to something we know already, which is coroutines. The syntax is very similar. There's the spread operator that takes an array and unpacks it into its individual parts, very much like table.unpack. But yeah, the difference. Oh yeah, table.unpack was released with Lua 5.0 in 2003. So that's 13 years it's been in Lua, and it's only just got to the browser, which but it's great. So, but to put that into context, in 2003, I had a state-of-the-art mobile phone that I loved for the time. It was an orange SPV. It ran Windows. There was no such thing as iPhones back then, but it had a camera which was extremely advanced, but you had to carry it around with you and plug it into the bottom. So that's 2003. So other features, there's the REST operator in ES6, which obviously is varargs. That was released with 2.5 in 1996 when we were playing Mario 64. Other features are proxies, where you can define an object with certain properties and handler functions. Then apply that object to another and hook into the events on that object, very much like metatables, or fallbacks, as they were called when they were first introduced in 2.1. And that was back in 1995, when we had the usual suspects on the screens, Toy Story, and of course, Sailor Moon Super S, the movie. So yeah, lastly, destructuring assignments, obviously familiar with these, multiple return values, and block scoping via the let keyword. So yeah, they all came out with the initial version of Lua. There's no version number on there, but it's 1994, the year that England didn't qualify for the World Cup, unfortunately. But yes. So yeah, good year for Brazil in 1994, Lua and the World Cup. So yeah, let's fast forward 21 years now. So that's a whole Justin Bieber. And we have the ability to do these things in the browser. yeah, it's taken a while though, because like I was busy when ES6 first came out, so I saw these things and I thought, someone else is going to see these similarities. There'll be a translator, someone will write one. It's going to be great. And I waited a year and a half, and no one made one. And so I was like, oh, okay, go on then. But yeah, I had the free time, and so I created Starlight. Obviously, the name comes from moonshine to starlight. What does it look like? Well, this is going to be a problem. Can everyone see that? Okay. Zoom doesn't work. Okay, well, you've got your Lua code here in a script tag with a Lua type. You include the Starlight library, which will take the tags that mark Lua and execute them on page load if you've got the switch there. It does translate it to ES6, which some browsers don't. Well, a lot of browsers don't handle all of ES6 just yet. So you need to, for now, include Babel Core or Babel Browser plugin library. And that's pretty weighty. That's over 800K, and it's a little bit slow. So, but fortunately, it's not going to be around forever. Browsers will take on the support natively, and we can get rid of that. So how to use or how to configure it? You can configure how the standard out is directed, but also this is probably more important. You can import your JavaScript code or your JavaScript functions into the Lua environment, and then just run them in the Lua. In Sailor, they've benefited from having modules. So we've got this top code block has got the mod name greeting, so it's preloaded. It's not run straight away, and then it can be referenced using require from other script tags. It also has a DOM API. Obviously, you can get away from JavaScript, but you can't get away from the DOM in the browser. So this uses the same API as Moonshine. It's everything's packaged into the window namespace. So you prefix everything with window, but there's also a window.extract, which will extract all of those functions out into the global namespace if that's what you want to do. And then it looks a bit more normal, like set timeout. Although you will have to use the colon syntax to keep the context for each function call. Obviously that's great, but I don't code front end. I don't script my applications in script tags in the page. I use Grunt or Gulp or Webpack. So you can do the same with this and have all your Lua scripts in directory structure. Then at build time, just package them all together, and it's pretty simple. It's got a source, a destination. Again, we need to use Babel to translate that ES6 to something we can use today, but eventually get rid of that. And yeah, it's only 6 months old. It's still in development. So we've got a bit of a roadmap. Source mapping would be good. At the moment, you get error messages, but you don't get line numbers or any context, which is a bit hard going. Yeah, Gulp task. Use the source attribute on script tags. It doesn't support that at the moment, so that'll be a biggie. And a plugin system is desirable, because things like coroutines and generators, they aren't a one-to-one match, and there are some issues, and you'd need to restrict how you use coroutines in order to get it to translate. So I'd rather not support that natively and have it in a plugin where you sign up to this knowledge. So that's kind of it, really. What I'd love you to do is to use it and report any issues you find. With Moonshine, I had a team of Lua developers available that would tell me where I'm going wrong all the time. I don't have that anymore, so I need feedback and tell me where my documentation is lacking, because I know it is. And that's it, really. It was just an introduction.
Yeah, now for the Q&A, I'd like to call back at 10, and then we'll take questions about both talks. They will be happy to answer. So I see you have one already. Which, for anyone else? Yeah, go ahead.
Have you searched why actually the browser aren't able to understand other languages than JavaScript? Because it seems that at the beginning the type property is for handling several kind of scripts, but at the end there is only JavaScript.
Yes.
Yeah, could we?
Sorry, yeah, I should have been a bit. I should have been more clear with that. Yeah, the Starlight takes the script tags with Lua in them, and then just translates that. It's got it uses Lua pars, and has a code generator to take the AST tree, the AST, and just create some JavaScript, some ES6 code that runs. So it is running JavaScript.
So it's actually translating the word to JavaScript.
Yes. Yes.
Do the functions defined in Lua, are they JavaScript functions as well? And could you put them in the on-click events in
Yes.
forms and so on?
Yeah.
Could you explain how do you want to benefit from using coroutines for plugins, and why not to use simple functions?
Well, coroutines, I mean, they have a lot of benefit, especially back in gaming, in animation. You can kind of time slice things. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits to using coroutines there. Unfortunately, yeah, it doesn't map to generators, but sorry, I've forgotten what the other part of your question was. Does that answer it?
So why do you think coroutines are useful for plugins?
Sorry, I probably didn't make that clear. The coroutines weren't for the plugins. I want to put the coroutines namespace in a plugin, so I need to create a plugin system for that.
So is there anything else apart from coroutines that you can't implement in ES6? Is that the only incompatibility left?
Possibly. I mean, obviously there's the debug library that is very implementation specific, so that's not going to translate, and things like OS and the file system.
Yeah.
But you can mock the files. Sorry?
There's no other language features you have issues?
Not that I know of, no.
Also, is Sailor using Starlight?
Yes, Sailor is using Starlight and other virtual machines. I initially Starlight didn't exist, so we started off with Lua.51 GS, and then as I started searching around, I found Moonshine, and then I integrated it with Moonshine, and then I ran into a problem because Moonshine takes bytecode and then runs it on the virtual machine, and there was a problem with when we were running Sailor over LuaJIT, because the bytecode generated is completely different. So we weren't able to do that, and so I contacted Paul because he was working on Moonshine, and then he told me, oh, I actually have this other thing which is called Starlight, and yeah. Any other questions?
Does Starlight generate source maps?
No, that's on the to-do list.
On the roadmap?
Yeah, it's desperately needed. Yeah.
Any other questions? Apparently everyone's convinced that Lua is a great language for web development. Okay, so I'd like to thank both speakers.